Want to make sure to turn my mic on this time. How are you, Mark?
I'm doing okay, Dave. How are you doing?
Well, it's been a time, hasn't it? We've got a lot of stuff going on, new stuff coming in, and it's going to be interesting to see how this ends up playing out. So, uh, I guess first thing is that well, let's look around the area right now. It's oh, there I go hitting the wrong button. I'll get it right here in a second. Uno momento, senor. Sometimes I don't know what I'm doing. Well, I still didn't get it right. Just a second. Well, I guess that'll work. Anyway, all right. So you see, we've added some things up here at the top. We've got the ice storm warnings, which right now is not in effect, and we have winter storm warnings, which is not in effect. This is for, I think, our area. I don't know. I'm not sure this is completed, set it up yet, but we're working on things to try to make things better for everybody. And down here, we should have a crawl come up with the winter storm watch that we are currently under. This is everybody in Kentucky. In fact, Mark, let me go ahead and go over here. Let me get it called up, make sure I'm in the right spot. Um, this is the current look at everybody that's under a winter storm watch, and this is different from what it was early today. Christian County, Todd County, Logan County, Trigg County have all been added to that watch, and so there are certain things that means. Mark, do you want to elaborate on that?
Well, that just means that they are expecting conditions that could cause a winter storm warning. And that winter storm warning criteria could be anything from 2 to 4 inches of snow or a quarter inch of ice. And it just depends on where you're at in the region as to what you are likely to get.
Yeah, and of course we've had a cold front come through overnight, and so the temperatures today are not going to get very warm.
We're about our maximums right now. We're in the upper 30s, and that's what they're forecasting
Right,
for high, up close to maybe 40.
right.
And then Saturday, we're only going to be up in the 30s. But as we start getting into Sunday, we'll eventually get up close to the middle 40s here.
Mm,
Now, north of us, the temperature gradient's going to be really, really steep. Just north of us, like in Hopkins County, north of there, they may stay below freezing for the whole day.
well, unless they changed the official forecast, because the official forecast I thought said 40 on Sunday. So
The official forecast for us, Hopkinsville, is 47 for a
huh,
high. We're supposed to start out with freezing rain here and then go just plain rain
right,
as we get on through the day.
okay.
Uh, and that's probably after 9 a.m. before we start changing over to just regular rain. Rain through the evening and then turn over to snow as we go through the overnight hours into Monday.
Yeah, so it's going to be kind of crazy as time goes forward. The storm that's going to do all this is just going to be coming ashore this evening, and that's when they'll get a good sampling of it and have a
Yeah.
better idea of exactly what we're going to be looking at.
Actually,
Um,
it's coming ashore right now.
oh, is it okay?
Uh-huh.
So that's good to know. We got a lot of people on with us right now. I'd like to give a shout out to some of them if I have a chance here, because we're going to get into what we saw in the weather briefing and all that here in just a little bit. Of course, Chris Meacham's on with us. Helen Stanley's on with the over at the David Powell Weather and Wisdom Facebook page, and then of course Shelley Workman's on, and there's Gerald Blackheart 502 is on with us as well. Um, and Amy Crabtree, our good friend Amy, is watching us. I knew she'd be on with us because she's always there to help us out. I'm getting some weird stuff going in on my big chat screen up here. It keeps coming up and then going away. But anyway, at least I've got the small one to look at. Tammy Tatum says, hello, snow buddies. And Jackie Mathis says, hey, David Mark, been waiting for y'all. Hello, snow buddies. Yeah, we may see some snow, so don't think just because we're going to get ice, we won't see any snow, because we will see some snow at some point. So hang in
Yeah.
there. And we're going to talk about all this here in a minute. Linda McElrath, hey, Linda, she's one of our truest fans, and she's usually on with us every time. And Sad Guy 493 says, good evening, fellows. Let's see here. D Heavy Metal. I think we're going to be just south of the ice line in Muhlenberg County. Boy, I think that's wishful thinking.
I think so too.
Yeah, unfortunately, I hope that you are right and we are wrong, but it doesn't look like it. It looks like that you're going to get some pretty good icing up that way. Carla Baines says, good afternoon, everyone. Donna Blankenship, good afternoon. I'm hoping that the worst of the ice is tracking further away from us. Well, unfortunately, the storm has taken a little jog to the south, right, Mark?
Right. In the latest models, the storm has taken a slight jog to the south. And again, depending on which model you're looking at, all the ensembles and everything from this morning's briefing were showing that it's taking a little bit more of a southern track. Unfortunately, that pushes the ice farther south as well. Right now, down to back down to around the Kentucky-Tennessee border as far as areas it's supposed to get ice. Y'all are down in Tennessee. Y'all are in pretty good shape right now.
Yeah, Clarksville's probably not going to have to worry about power outages or anything like that. And, of course, we cover everybody down in Paris and Dover. All you guys seem to be in pretty good shape as far as the ice stuff goes. I do think after this thing gets past us to the east and we get the circulation around the backside, we will see some snow coming down. How much? That's a $99 question.
Yeah.
But
everyone who's asking about their specific location, just hang on. We're going to show you a graphic.
Yes.
That will kind of show where the heavier or lighter stuff's going to be. So just hang in with us.
Yeah. Amanda Patty says she's still snow dancing, trying to make the ice go away, and I wish you would. Let's see here. That Heavy Metal says, I heard parts of Frankfurt are already out of power. Let's see.
I'm not seeing any power outages on the map up that way.
Well,
right
yeah,
now,
our
so
radar
it might just be.
Our radar has the ability to see any power outages, like these down here, these counties that are colored. They have power outages there. In fact, I can go in on this. It'll tell you how many customers are out and everything. So this is part of the new technology that we're using to utilize, keeping you guys informed and trying to take care of you and letting you know right down to the T of what's going on across the area. And we will see how it goes from here on. I do want to keep on this. Let's see here. Shannon Zizikowski is on with us. Shannon's doing her snow dance, praying for no ice. And Chris Meacham says, hit the like and subscribe button, everyone. Yeah, we do need the subscriptions because as I showed you the technology that we have, the more subscribers we have, the more YouTube will help us out, and that will give us the ability to keep our equipment upgraded and upgrade our software and continue to bring you the type of quality that you know and deserve. And so just if you do think about it, go ahead and hit that subscribe button over here on the YouTube channel. And they may ask you for your email address if you're a first-time subscriber anywhere. But it's okay to give it to them. They're not going to charge you anything. Doesn't cost anything to subscribe, and it does go a long ways to help us out. Okay, so let's go ahead and we'll move on down a little bit. We're going to get to the other stuff here in just a minute. Tedrick Green says, hello all. Joe Ellen Stevens says, no ice. And Faye Rogers says, hello everyone, stay safe. Dennis Shoemake says, hey from Auburn. So we got folks from all over the area tuning in to us, and that is always nice to see. Let's see here. Well, let's go on down here, and we will go ahead and start showing a few other things. So let's go back. Let me get it called up and get ready to go with it. I think, Mark, I'm going to skip some of this. I want to go to the hazards map.
All right.
So this is a big widespread outlook of everything that's being affected by this storm for the most part. And you see there's still a cutoff here on the Tennessee line, but they're not going to be completely escaped from it. They're going to get rain and maybe some mixed stuff, but nothing that's going to be impactful. At least it doesn't appear that way at this time. But this blue shade right here, these are all winter storm watches, all of these. And then you have this right here is a winter storm warning in the pink.
Yeah,
and then back
that will
here,
probably spread eastward, but we
yes,
don't know how far south they will go with that.
That's true. And then back here west of that, the lighter shade of blue, that's a winter weather advisory. And so that's what that looks like. Then let's just talk about the weather briefing we had earlier with the National Weather Service. This was the key messages from that.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, wintry mix of freezing rain, sleet, and snow is expected to arrive late Saturday night, linger through Sunday, then end from west to east late Sunday night, possibly into Monday morning. That's a little bit of a change from what we were earlier. Precipitation may be heavy at times Sunday afternoon and evening, and significant ice accumulation, sleet, freezing rain possible in the watch area. We're in the watch area.
Mm-hmm.
Travel impacts likely across the region, especially southeast Missouri, southern Illinois, and southwest Indiana. So that's because they're expecting much heavier accumulations. We'll look at that in just a moment. Still, differences among the models this morning. Now, that is important to remember. There is a lot of differences still. The later trends this morning are indicating a southward shift, which we knew that, which would be a colder scenario, and further changes are possible with later updates. So once again, we're still at that point where it is not out of the question that all this could change even more. The thing that has changed is that model differences have increased with this update. In other words, there's lower confidence in the precip type and placement. That's a little bit concerning right there, because that means that our precip chances could go up or could go down. And so that's what the National Weather Service had to say basically from earlier today. And then if we look at this, here's the timing. A lot of you were asking about what timing we're looking at. And this is estimated start times from Saturday night into Sunday morning. So as you can see, 10 p.m. to 1 a.m. back in Missouri around Cape Girardeau, Poplar Bluff. Then from midnight to 3 a.m. looks like it'll get into Paducah, Mayfield, and Murray. And then from about 2 a.m. to 5 a.m., Hopkinsville, Madisonville, Clarksville, Mount Vernon, all of these areas get in on the act at that point. That's when we start seeing the onset of the precipitation, whatever it may be. It could be rain, freezing rain, sleet, snow, or ice. Well, ice is freezing rain, but anyway. And then from 4 a.m. to 8 a.m. points eastward around Greenville, Owensboro, Evansville, Russellville. Those are the best timings we have right now. So a mix of freezing rain and sleet and snow will spread from west to east across the region Saturday night, and portions of southeast Missouri and west Kentucky near the Arkansas-Tennessee borders may be warm enough to be just rain. We can only hope that anything but the ice. We do not need the ice at all. That
Absolutely.
would be the worst thing that could happen. But I do want to tell you that here's the winter storm planning timeline. A few days out, which is where we are right now, if the forecast calls for winter weather, start preparing now. Have your emergency supplies for your home and car. Stick blanket, a couple of bottles of water, something to help you get out of a ditch if it needs to be like, sand, cat litter. Some of that stuff works. Some of it don't work too well either. Cat litter doesn't work that great last time I tried it. But also in your house, check your smoke and carbon monoxide detectors. And then be sure you have your car filled up and have your heating sources ready to go. So if you've got a kerosene heater, have some kerosene on hand. Make sure you be safe with that. Last thing we want is a fire or anything. But these are the things you start planning for right now. And then just before, the day before, this would be by tomorrow, adjust your plans. Have multiple ways to receive warnings, and bring pets indoors and ensure that they have water. And for those outside pets, like your outside cats and dogs and cows and things of that sort, make sure that they have water. If you can provide them a warm place to get in out of the weather, that would be good too. So by Saturday, the forecast accuracy should be much better. And so that's why you want to be ready to adjust your plans if you have to. Then during the storm and afterwards, remain vigilant, stay informed, drive only if necessary. Check on neighbors and family. Properly ventilate emergency heat sources. Make sure that you don't have everything closed off the kerosene heater running, because that's using up the oxygen in the atmosphere, and you want to make sure that you have some kind of venting to be able to keep fresh air coming in. Then keep generators at least 20 feet from your home. I don't know how many times, every year we have a problem with power and everything, and we end up with a death due to a generator with carbon monoxide poisoning. They try to do it inside their house.
The only death we had in our area during the 2009 ice storm, at least down this way,
Mm-hmm.
was a man who had a generator
Yep,
running in his house
that's correct.
because he was afraid someone would steal it.
Yeah.
So he had it in his house.
Let's see here. I'm going to mute my mic here for just a second. Mark.
Yeah, Dave's answering a phone call. So we really want to stress that you don't run a generator inside an enclosed area. Get a cover on it if you don't want it to be rained on or whatever, which most generators don't take to being rained on that much. But definitely have it outside, away from your house, and just run a cord in or an attachment, ever how you've got it set up to do. They're good things. I've got one at the house. Dave's got one at his house. Mine has lasted me, I had mine in the 2000 ice storm and it's still going. So that's the case. As far as the line that demarks where it's going to be rain or freezing rain, that's going to change as the system moves through. It'll probably start off as ice for a lot of us, and then it'll change back over to rain for us down here in the southern portion of the area, and then change back over to snow as the low goes by, which would be Sunday night.
Yeah, that's right. And so again, if you have a lot of livestock and everything, make sure that you take into consideration their comfort and keep the cold stress down off of them as best you can. And so let's look at maybe the precip amounts here. This is right now what I think this is the GFS, isn't it, Mark? Yeah, GFS.
It's GFS.
It shows you the
And that's the total ice accumulation through 84 hours.
Yep. Hang on. I just screwed it up again. You know how I am. I like doing that. Let me see how I can get back out of this. It doesn't look like it gives me an option to go out. Yeah, here we go. I'll just do it this way. There we go. Now, hey, I did learn something. I didn't fall off the turnip wagon yesterday, like a lot of people are saying, Okay, so this is our ice accumulation. It does look like here in North Christian, about 3.34 inches of ice.
It could be.
3.34
At the very northern
of
part
an
of Christian
inch.
County.
And it looks like if you go down further to the south, 0.18, and then down even further towards the Tennessee border, Let me get back up here. Anyway, to make a long story short, I did speak with Brent Gilkey from Penrod Electric, and he says that the technology they are using now has increased considerably. They've made a lot of preparations since the 2009 ice storm, and it does appear that they have made enough improvements that it probably is going to be hard for the power to go out with any length of time, So I'm trying to show this a little bit wider so everybody can kind of see the ice amounts. Even the northern part of the counties, like here is in northern Logan County, about 0.3 of an inch. As you go back towards the west and then down towards the border into Tennessee, it does look like they're not going to get near as much. I doubt if they'll have much trouble. I really don't think many of us are going to have trouble, at least in this area of Kentucky from, say, the Ohio River southward, because you're not looking at extremely heavy ice accumulation. I know that the power lines are rated for 1/4 of an inch of ice, but they'll take more than that. But the other thing too, Mark, and you were telling me this interesting tidbit was if the rain hits it, what's it going to do?
If we have gustier winds, which are forecast with this, so our winds are going to be gusting up to around 2025, it will blow the rain off the lines before it can stick and freeze,
Right.
and that will keep ice accumulation off the lines themselves and off some of the tree limbs.
Okay. So that's good to know. And like I said, they've done a lot to clear the right-of-ways and everything over the years in that. Tim Mee says, I'm in that yellow spot. Tim, sorry for your luck, bud, but you're going to have a hard time over the next few days. Get you some stuff to prepare, because I would say you may have a possibility of losing power for a while. If you get that much ice, that would be equivalent of the 2009 ice storm where you're located. Over here in southeastern Missouri.
And again, this is just one model. This may
True.
change. It may go up. It may go down.
Yep.
Hopefully it won't go up.
That's right. So we hope that this works out for you, Tim. But yeah, I hope that you have. Make sure everybody should make sure you have your phones charged. And always remember, if you don't have a mobile charger, you can always charge your phones in the car. If you've got a lighter plug that will work to charge your phone, just think about that. These are things I'm just giving you some ideas on, basically. So anyway, see my friend Gary Pettis is on with us, one of our storm interceptors. He's on, and along with Amy and several. There's cousin Nicholas Greenman on with us, and I appreciate everybody on here that's showing up. You guys are meaning a lot to us, and we appreciate you a lot. Again, if you've got an opportunity, please hit subscribe on this page. Join the tribe and subscribe is our motto. So yeah, if you can subscribe, that will help us out a lot. And YouTube loves those numbers. Now let's look at the snowfall amounts.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Let me pull this down just a little so we can see it better.
Questions about Lewisburg and Russellville.
Okay, where are we here? Let me see. How much for Russellville? If you're talking about ice, it was about the same as we were, I think, Mark. Why don't I go back here?
Just about, yeah. Probably maybe 1/10 of an inch to maybe 2/10 of an inch.
It's about the same as we are. In fact, they actually might be a little bit heavier. I don't know why that jogs down a little bit. I guess that's because of the southern push or something. But
push of the cold air a little bit farther south through there, yeah.
So, and let's see, Lewisburg is about the same as Russellville. I don't see any difference. It'll be all about the same. Michael Henderson says, David, can you explain, please, why it's freezing rain and not snow? With the temps right at or below freezing, it should be snow, correct? Okay, Mark, that's a good question for you.
Well, if you will click on there and show us a QT.
All right, let's see. Doesn't matter anywhere, I don't guess, does it?
Right in there, yeah, okay. Anywhere right in there.
Let's see.
If you can remember how to get back out of it.
I need to go to the dog. Well, I do. I can remember to go and get back out of it. Here we go. Well,
doesn't want to show it too much there, does it?
No, it doesn't. My finger's not working right.
Yeah. I'll just explain it real quick. The reason we get freezing rain instead of snow is because we get a warm layer up in the atmosphere, a little bit higher off the surface, that's warmer than the air below it. If the air below it is below freezing, and that warm air is thick enough, everything that's falling from higher up melts and becomes liquid. But as it falls through the colder air, it becomes supercooled, and then when it strikes the surface that's below freezing, it freezes. And that's how we get freezing rain. Basically up above, that's, there's a possibility we could see with this, we could even see some thunder and lightning as that low pressure area moves through just to the south of us. And if that's the case, we could actually see thunder freezing rain or thunder sleet. I don't think we'll see thunder snow. The snow is not coming in till well south of the thunderstorm, or well north of the thunderstorms, and well to the west.
Well, here's a look at the thunderstorm outlook for, let's see, this is for, let me pull up here and see where we are exactly.
Day 3, that should be for Sunday.
Yes, this is for Sunday. So you can see, we'll see, there's marginal. So we're just in a plain thunderstorm mode, though. As you can see down here, according to the legend. They have a slight risk of severe thunderstorms back here in Mississippi, Louisiana, and southern Arkansas and eastern Texas. But when we get up here to us, it looks like it's mainly going to be plain thunderstorms, which, that's good. I don't have any problem with that. In fact, let me see if there's a probabilistic.
I don't really want to have a thunderstorm if we've got below freezing temperatures on the surface, though.
No, because that would not be a good thing. So let's go back.
But again, the way we look at it when we're looking at the models and the way the graphics show, the thunderstorm activity would be happening in the warmer air where it's all rain.
Well, did we answer the question about why we're getting freezing rain with below freezing temperatures?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So Sheila Rager, what time is this supposed to start in South Christian or South Logan? And I can tell you that. right here. It looks like that would be somewhere around 4 a.m. to 8 a.m. This is Logan County right here. And you see the timing. This is from the National Weather Service when they expect the precip to begin. So I hope that answers your question. Faye Rogers says she's watching from Madisonville. Thanks, David and Mark. Tina
you're very
Mitchell.
welcome.
Yeah, Tina Mitchell watching from Kirkmansville. And Carol Robertson Duncan says, I asked my kids for a solar generator from Christmas and I didn't get it.
Oh, no.
You must have been a bad girl. But anyway, yeah, I'm sorry about that. But a solar generator would be nice because you can run those inside without any problem, Mark.
Right, because all they do, the solar generator just basically uses solar panels to collect the energy from the sun, convert it to electricity, and store it in a battery.
That's right. So Sheila Rager says, yes, we answered the question. And okay, let's see. Who else we got on here? What other questions are we getting? Madison Dunn, how bad will the ice be? Well, Madison, depends on where you're located. So if you have questions about how bad it's going to be sure and include where you're located so we can give you a better idea. Hey, Nancy Tolliver's on with us. She says, hey, guys. Hi, Nancy. Good to see you. Nancy's an old friend of mine for years. And let's see, Ashley Townsend Maudsley. Yeah, says, I'm all for snow, but no ice, please. And I tend to agree with you. And Jackie Mass says, Dave, you're one of us. You know, that's probably one of the best compliments I've received. I have to tell you guys, I'm catching it. Other folks are lambasting me. They are. I don't know why. I've done nothing to them, and I certainly, as you know, I don't sling mud at anyone who's on there. I just say, okay, just be sure you know who you're getting your information from, and that's all I ask. But as far as me mentioning names, I try not to do that. And but unfortunately, they don't extend the same kind of courtesy to me, and they tend to run hard on me. So I'm counting on you guys to take up for me when you see that show up. But anyway, let's see here. Alicia Simpson, what's the prediction for Clarksville, Tennessee? Any travel concerns for Monday morning? Mark, that's also a good question.
So,
you're only breaking up a little bit, getting a little bit. Try it now.
Okay, are we back? Maybe not.
I hear you, but your lips are not moving. Okay, now you're starting to get better. What's happened to you?
I don't know. I haven't touched anything.
Yeah. That's the famous last words.
Yes, we are looking for effects on Monday morning on the commute. Our cold air will be pushing in then, so anything we have that's wet or has snow or sleet or freezing rain on it that hasn't melted because of regular rain, it's going to refreeze because the cold air is coming in. It's probably going to be a slick go of it on Monday morning.
Yeah, so hopefully that answers your question. One thing that's not being said a whole lot about is the wraparound snow on the backside, Mark. We know there's going to be some, but I think the reason there's not much talk about it is because, frankly, they don't know how much it's going to be. There's a lot of things happening that could change things quite a bit, and so we want to try to be safe and not overly say stuff like that, but you know, I don't know what to tell you. I wish I could had the $99 question I could answer and say, well, we're going to get some snow. I think we will see some snow. How much is still to be determined. I think we could see some light accumulation. I don't think it'll be a big one. Probably not enough to make snow cream out of, but you know.
Yeah. Really what has happened is, earlier we were talking about higher snow amounts, especially in other places. A lot of this, with this ice being in instead, that always cuts into your snow totals quite a bit.
Yeah, and sleet is known for being a snow killer. I'm looking ahead at some of the stuff for coming up. Yeah.
Somebody was asking about Cromwell. That's just to the northeast a bit of Central City. It's just over near Beaver Dam.
Yeah.
And they're a little bit more into the ice, I think. They may get, at least a quarter of an inch of ice up that way.
Now, if you're a snow lover, do you want to see when we might get some snow? Let me see actions on here. Tell me, Do you want to see when you might get some snow, when you can expect it? I'm waiting for some answers on here. Snow and ice totals for Louisville. You guys rock. That's from Dylan Woodruff. Mark, what about that?
Well, let's see. Up toward Louisville, let me look here real quick.
I'm getting some yeses in on the. They want me to show them when it's going to snow or when I think it's going to snow. So,
yeah. I'd say Louisville area could get up to like 3/4 of an inch of ice out of this because they are much more into the ice zone than we are. And as far as snow, the Louisville area, they're showing some ridiculous amounts up there in the GFS up that way at 84 hours. So I'm not going to go with that so much. Let me see what else is going on here.
They're waiting, Mark. They want me to show them when it's going to snow.
Okay. Yeah, they're showing the Louisville area could get as much as like 10 inches of snow out of this, and I think that's probably a little overblown.
Yeah, that's if they got ice and then that, I don't know that I would buy that completely. Okay, so let me go back to the model that was showing the snow earlier. This is in the local current ice storm or whatever you want to call it that we're getting. We could get as much as a ½ inch of snow along southern tier, maybe a little bit more further north you go. But you're going to have to get up into the Ohio River and maybe even up around Louisville before you see much in the way of snow. But now, if I put this model in motion, this would be. Go ahead, Mark.
And again, just as we said, there was going to be a very, very steep gradient between temperatures between like us and say Madisonville, like it could be a 7 or 8 degree difference in temperature.
Yep.
The same thing's going to be the same for the ice or the snow. It's going to be a steep gradient. One place may get a ½ inch, and then 50 miles north may get 5 inches.
Right. I did see a question pop up about Fort Bragg, North Carolina. So if you can look that up, and while I tell them about the snow coming. All right. Now this is the Friday the 10th, 1 week from today.
Mm-hmm.
And you see the storm coming in from the southwest. Now, there is a southern storm expected to develop, and this is actually an extension of that southern storm as you see it moving forward towards us. And here we go, Friday, January 10th. Then we get into the 11th. The snow begins here, and already here in South Christian, around Clarksville and back over towards Cadiz, and these areas are already getting about 2.5 inches at that point. And this is at let's see, 3 is Saturday morning. Let's see, that's 3 a.m. No, that's, 9 a.m., Mark?
Yeah, 9 a.m.
Okay. I'm getting it. All right, and then look at this. Like I said, this is going to be a southern storm, but look at the snow piling up down here. Already, in Logan County and southern Todd.
And again, this is farther out on the stuff, so it's
right
lower accuracy. Remember all the snow they showed in the models for this storm when they started out. So, take it with a big grain of salt. It may still be there when we get to that point, or it may not.
Now, this is
Fort Bragg, North Carolina. The only thing I'm seeing down that way is possibility of, let me see when that comes in.
This is McLeod from Fort Bragg, North Carolina.
Yeah, probably the evening of January 11th or so. They're showing maybe 0.2 of an inch down that way, which I was at Pope Air Force Base for a while. I know that they don't have any snow removal equipment, so any little bit of snow causes them to have a bad day of it.
Okay, so I hope that answered your question, McLeod. Again, now let me go back to what I was telling you. By Sunday, January 12th, this is what the projected snowfall amount on the ground is expected to be in our region. As you can see, that many of the areas that aren't getting snow this time are going to get fairly decent amount. Even Christian County, looks like we've got a little area up there. I wouldn't pay too much attention to it, but at the very least, everybody has 3 or 4 inches of snow on the ground. Some of them a little higher. And as you get down towards Tennessee, they're looking at about a ½ foot. But again, this is projections. This doesn't mean this is exactly what's going to happen, but it's just an idea of what
Yeah.
we're looking at. Uh,
Yeah. Dylan Dalton, yes, we will see upgrades probably in the region from the winter storm watch to a winter storm warning, but it's too early to tell exactly where those are going to be.
Yep. Now, Nicholas Grumman says, don't you subtract 6 hours when you start with Zulu time? And I think that's right, isn't it, Mark?
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
You got it, Nick. See, he used to be part of our group. It's been a long time, but
Yeah.
I'm glad that
At least while we're in standard time. When
Right.
we go to daylight savings time again, it's 5 hours.
Yeah. Sabrina Patterson says, what about Sharon Grove? Pampin Penley, what will Muhlenberg County get? And Robin Ashley, David Powell, Weather and Wisdom, I believe that tapping helps your lives. I believe that tapping helps your lives also. I'm not sure I understand that one. Do you?
Tapping or taping?
I don't know. But anyway, Robin, I hope that I haven't misread that. I don't know. Just let me know or clarify a little bit. Tammy Bridges says she's watching from Katie's. Nicholas Grimman says the time then would be for that slide would have been 9 p.m. Friday. Okay. Yeah, I know what you're talking about now. I got you. Tammy Tatum says, hi, Shelley. And Amanda Patty says, the hearts. Oh, you guys are so nice. Let's see here. Let me go back here a little bit. Everything is good there. Now, let's go on and we'll talk a little bit more. Let's talk about the power outages. Now, if you start getting power outages, if you're under Pennyrile, which a lot of folks in our area region are, either Pennyrile or, let's see here, Kentucky Utilities, I think it is. I'm not sure what the one up to the north, but KU. Yeah, I believe that's KU. They each have a way to turn in your reports of power outages. You can go on to the Pennyrile Rural Electric website, and there's a place on there where you can report it online. I will also be able to show you any power outages that shows up here. Good grief, Shannon, I'm sorry. Shannon Zakowski says Dawson is KU. So, yeah, Dawson Springs on KU. Christina Thornton says Warren Rural Electric, and that's over around Bowling Green and those areas. So, yeah, most of the utilities have a way for you to go to their web page or their website. I take that back. Facebook page. Most of them have Facebook pages. You can go on there, and there's a place on there where you can report the outage. They also have toll-free numbers you can call, and you can also check those outages and see, if there's any kind of an idea when it'll be back on, things of that sort. V says there's snow for me, so again, unless I know exactly where you guys are, I don't know how I can answer that. But Denise Perry says, thank you for all your updates. We appreciate you. Thank you, Denise. Tony Harris says, hello, Mark and David. Blessings to you both. Mark, it was great seeing you yesterday at Walmart. Blessings to all my Thunder buddies. So let's see.
My lovely wife and I were out at Walmart yesterday picking up a few things, getting ready for the storm, and ran into Tony Harris there. It was a pleasure meeting him.
Yeah, I have had the pleasure of meeting several of new friends that we made while on this and with everything that's going on. We're looking back right now at the ice accumulation expected as of right now. That doesn't mean this is not going to change. In fact, I can tell you right now it is going to change. Whether it's going to be better or worse, I don't know. McLeod says, we grew up in Middle Tennessee in the 70s and 80s. There were feet of snow back then. By the 2000s, that decreased to a few inches occasionally. Now we see the weather cycles back to feet, normal cycles. Yeah, you know what? He's probably right.
Yeah, a lot of it is.
It is. Tracy Kelly Webb, any ice for Sinking Fork area? Well, yeah, Tracy, as you can see, pretty much Christian County. Mark, I think we're going to get to see the SQTs now. Yeah.
There we go.
I can't hardly make heads or tails out of it. They're so small.
Yeah.
Looks like 28 degrees is the surface temperature.
Yeah. And you see how the temperature takes a jog, the line takes a jog to the right after you get up so far.
Yeah, right here.
That means that there's warmer air above that, because if it was getting colder the way it was supposed to, that would continue as in an
Straight
arc to
on.
the left.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then it takes a jog back to the left and gets across the freezing line. And this is all cold and snow and things like that up there.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's correct. Correct? Anyway. So,
Jacob Gibson, they are not confident at all that they won't shift more. That's what they're saying, is that
yeah.
they're still shifting around. They probably won't have a good handle on it until tomorrow sometime when the models there start running, because by then they'll be getting information from the system after it's come on shore. It's just now coming on shore. The models don't even show the low forming out over Utah until tomorrow sometime.
McLeod says, I'm a she. And you know why I started calling him? Because I'm thinking of that TV show McLeod. You know, with Dennis Weaver and the cowboy hat and all that stuff. But I'm sorry, McLeod.
We'll definitely call you she if you want to be called she.
Yeah. Mark, don't be. You're going to get me talked into the corner here. But anyway. Okay. Heather Holt, how much snow and ice for Nortonville, Kentucky? Well, let's look up here at what I'm seeing. I wish I have a way of zooming in on this. I don't know. But looks like about the same as Hopkinsville, about anywhere from quarter to maybe 3/10 of an inch, somewhere in that neighborhood. Tammy Tatum says she's fixed to go shopping. Now, I tell you what she's fixed to do. She's going out to buy as much milk and bread as she can carry. I know what she's doing. But anyway. Yeah, Shelley Workman says milk and bread at Tammy Tatum. So everybody understands it.
Yeah.
McLeod says, no worries, my better half is a he. Well, I'm glad you're with us, McLeod. I hope you'll go ahead and subscribe to us, because we enjoy having you on with us, and you can feel free to ask us questions anytime you like, and we will try to answer them with some degree of accuracy. Sometimes even a blind hog will find an acorn every now and then. So anyway, but Jacob Gibson says, I've never understood the milk thing. If you lose power, that could spoil. LOL. I guess keep it outside. Yeah, you know what? You're probably right.
You know, that is a tactic that will work with as cold as the temperatures are coming in behind all this. If you do lose power and you're worried about your stuff in your freezer going bad, you can find a way to store it outside. Get some totes or whatever, grab some totes, put it in it, and stick it outside. It'll probably stay frozen.
And there's my old friend John Jackson from Franklin. He says, what about Franklin, Kentucky? Well, John, I would tell you it's going to be about the same as Christian County. You're in the area of lighter power or lighter ice, probably less than a quarter of an inch. So the power lines are rated for about a quarter of an inch. At least that's what I'm told by Brent Gilkey at Pennyrile Electric. They will hold more, but a lot of factors come in play there, like wind and other things like that. Amy Crabtree says over 5,500 subscribers. Woohoo! Keep it coming. Yeah. I appreciate that, everyone. Thank you so much for subscribing to the channel. You don't know how much it means to us. Whitley Gray says, for snow cream. Whitley, I sure hope we can get some. I think, though, maybe by the storm on the 11th, we don't have to deal with all this snow and ice, because the cold air will already be in here. With any luck, it'll be all snow, and we will get a chance to have some good snow cream. Jacob Gibson, I remember in the 2009 ice storm, we had to use water from the creek to flush toilets. And, you can't do that. Just so you know, you don't have to have running water to be able to flush toilets. You get water from any source.
Now, fortunately, in the 2009 ice storm, it got a little bit warmer right after. So it kind of got a little above freezing. This time, I don't know if the creeks will stay unfrozen.
No, that's true. We'll just have to see. Anne Marie Jackson says, forget about bread and egg. I do milk and cereal. And that's a good one. You got to have milk to make snow cream, though. So, I don't worry too much about it unless we go in there and looks like we're going to have ice or something. But if we're going to have snow, I want to have plenty of milk so I can make snow cream with it, because there is nothing better. Let's see. McLeod says, I subscribed and enjoy the weather and like this kind of format better than local TV. I saw a North Carolina weatherman on TV yesterday talking smack about YouTube weathermen because they weren't official. Well, you know what? A lot of No, I'm not even going to say. I'm not even going to
No,
start down that
we're
road.
not going to get into that.
Nah,
That's not what we're about.
but you're right. You're right, McLeod. I appreciate what you said, and I understand what they probably said as well. So, and yes, there are some unscrupulous people out there who will tell you anything. But Mark and I have both highly experienced in weather. I've been doing it since I was 10 years old, and Mark was in the Air Force as a trained meteorologist, and so now he's here helping us, and it looks like it's going to be good. And Shannon Zukowski says you two break down enough to understand it. So
Yeah.
hey,
That's our goal. We want to make sure
again,
you can understand what's going on.
Darlene Gilkey says you can buy snow cream in the store. You know, I did see it one time where you could. I didn't know if it was still available or not, but I don't know if it would taste the same or not. But you can make snow cream any number of ways. Let me go back to the map. Let's get off this for a minute and just look around here some. I do want to look at some of the cameras around.
Yeah. Oh, you'll like the camera over at Irwin.
Okay, well, let's take a look at that. Oh, my goodness. Is that snow?
That is snow.
Wow. Okay, this is Irwin, Tennessee, over in the mountains, eastern Tennessee.
Yeah. The cold front that is bringing us cooler temperatures today pushed through, and it's pushing a line of snow showers and mostly snow showers across that region and across West Virginia and the mountains of Tennessee, North Carolina there. I think Burnswell's camera is up there, or
Yeah, it's
is up
24
there as
degrees there
well.
at Pinnacle Tower in Irwin, Tennessee, so that's pretty cold. Let's see, Shelley Workman says, they don't mean anything to us, David. I guess she's talking about our critics. Gina McCubbin Sage says, you can also make an icy snow sweetener and a soft drink of your choice. I bet you could. I haven't tried a lot of those, but I think they are in the recipes that I have. And then McLeod says, make sure the snow you pick to make snow cream isn't any shade of yellow.
Oh, yes.
We know that. I agree with you. You know, Jacob Gibson says, never thought I'd be jealous of Irwin, Tennessee, but here we are. Angie says, I'm going to stock up on food and water. I'm just glad to work out. I'm just glad to work from home and hoping for no power outages. And so do I. Megan Marie, will this continue to shift south? I wish I could.
It could.
Yeah, it could.
It could not. It's still, like we say, the storm system that's going to start all this is just coming ashore on the West Coast. The low that's going to be affecting us will not form until tomorrow sometime over around Utah. So it's really still a bit early to tell exactly where it's going to go.
Yeah. Jacob Gibson says, you mean lemon snow cream?
I don't think it would taste very lemony.
Okay. Anyway, Frank Reynolds says, I remember 2009 ice storm. I was without electricity for 10 days, had my propane heater that kept me from freezing. It was rough. Make sure that if you're using propane, you have ventilation. And I couldn't agree more. Thank you so much for putting that out there. Let's see, Apple Crawford's Clarksville area. And also, Lisa Taylor wants to know if we'll be going live tomorrow, and if so, what time. We will go live tomorrow, right, Mark?
Yes, we will. And real quick, D Heavy Metal, we are not ignoring your global warming question. I was just waiting for a chance to get in to answer it.
Go right ahead.
Global warming's kind of passé as far as what they're talking about. They're calling for climate change, and the climate in the world is always changing. I hope it continues to change, because if the climate ever stops changing, the planet died.
Uh-oh, look here. I found another snow cover place.
I was going to say, look on over in
Burnsville, North Carolina, and it's snowing there. So if you're over towards the mountains, you're getting some snow right now. It is absolutely gorgeous. I love it. If you could see this, you could see mountains off out here in this area as we're looking out. This is, again, not too far from Irwin, Tennessee, the one we were just looking at, but looks like these guys are getting a little more snow. I swear, these lights are a little bright. I need to see if I can drop them down a tad. They're a little loud on me. Let's see. See if this... Ooh, that's even worse. Go back the other way. There we go. That feels a little better. Do I look better? can't do much about the face.
Uh,
Oops.
yeah, it's got a little bit more contour to it. It's not quite so washed out.
Thank you, Mark. I appreciate that, bud. All right. Anyway, it's 40 degrees though in Burnsville, so that's I don't know. That may be off a little bit, but being high like that up in the air, I guess they could get snow anyway. And we
Yep.
don't know where the temperature is. But if we look back towards UT Martin, just to our southwest, this is Martin, Tennessee. What a beautiful day. Beautiful afternoon. It is chilly, though. It's 41 degrees there. Might as well say 42. Uh, these are all live cameras that we're looking at, by the way, just so you know. Uh, we have the ability to look at a lot of different things on here. And these cameras help us also if we wanted to look. You know what? Let's go up here and look at. Let's look at Kalamazoo, see if they're getting any snow. This is
Yeah.
Kalamazoo, Michigan, and looky there. 22 degrees, and they've got snow on the ground, and it is snowing there as well. What a beautiful sight! I swear.
Yeah.
If
We
we
got
don't,
a
go ahead.
we got a question there for East Texas, and right now I was just looking at the model. East Texas, Longview area, maybe just right up on the Texas-Oklahoma border. At the very end of the model, they're showing maybe a little bit of freezing rain. Otherwise, they're showing no snow for East Texas at all the way out to 384 hours as far as the model goes there.
But we will need to watch that southern storm that's going to develop because it might affect East Texas as it comes
It
up,
could.
which will bring us the snow on the 11th or so. So we'll see. Again, all this is still playing out. But this is Kalamazoo, Michigan, is the live shot we're looking at. And it's snowing there, 22 degrees. Let's see if there's somewhere else we can look at. Let's look up here at Lake St. Clair, the camera that we have there, looking at a pier. And they also are, yeah, they're getting snow there. These are boats. You see the mast in the water. This is the lake out here that you can see in the distance. And looks like that's some lake effect snow they're getting. It is 26 degrees there. And let's zoom back out. Let's take a tour. Let's see. I don't know if this is. Okay, this is Boltec, Michigan, I think. Don't see anything coming down there. Maybe some stuff in the distance getting ready to come in. But that would be here just west of Buffalo. Um, let's see, Mark, are these some storm chasers we have up here? Let's see what we
Very
got.
well could be. They're
Brandon
up there
Coppock.
watching. Yeah,
Yeah, there's Brandon Coppock.
they're watching for a big lake effect snow that's supposed to be coming in.
And there's Corey Gherkin. They are in some snow-covered areas, so I don't know if they're traveling together or not. But these couple of guys, Brandon, we've hollered at before in the past. But if you get a chance, go over to their web page and hit like and send them some money or whatever. Buy them a cup of coffee. Let's see, where else do we want to? Oh, I know where we got to go. We got to go to Spirit Lake, the place we always go and check out.
Yeah,
And there
and
it
it
is.
is frozen.
Still frozen. 22 degrees, so it's going a long ways. Pretty soon they'll be out there ice fishing, especially once this cold really gets in there and goes on them. Let's go on back out here to this is Dragon Nation over in far western Missouri. This is a school system. Nothing much going on there. Pretty cloudy and gray and cold looking. It's 30 degrees, so that's why. I do want to check Mount Shasta, as we always do. Oops, hold on here. Here we go, and it's getting some snow, so it's snow covered. This mountain is right up in here. You can't see it because it's shrouded in clouds and snow. So probably once this breaks, then this may be that storm that's going to affect us, Mark. Is that?
It is the storm that's going to affect us. That's where it's coming ashore right now.
So right now you can see it's producing snow out around Mount Shasta in Northern California. This is what's going to affect us a little later. It's be overnight Saturday night into Sunday morning and through the day Sunday and into early Monday. So anyway, I'm taking a look at that. Let me see if I've got let me see if I can get the rain or precipitation to show up. Let's see here. Well, you can see the snow right here in the little blue specks, but this is the mountain, so it's not showing up real well. Let's see if we can go on out here. Now, here's some snow up here around Billings, Montana, all the way back up to Spokane, Washington. And looks like little streaks coming in down through, let's see, this right here is northwestern Missouri, already starting to see some streaks coming in. It's Dragon Nation we just looked at, so that's what...
That's probably mostly aloft, I think.
Yeah, probably so. And certainly as we look back up this way, you can see... Try one of these up around, just around Hamilton. Oh, this is Ohio. This is up just around Cincinnati, not too far from Cincinnati. They're getting snow.
Yeah.
So, yeah, look at that. And there's the flags are blowing. So, yeah, it's not too far away, folks. This is always fun to look at when you have these live cameras. It's 26 degrees there already. And here's Cincinnati. And there's the series of cameras. I can look at one or two of these others, see what they look like. Yes, looks like those are mainly snow flurries. In fact, I think it's the same camera I was just looking at. Let's try the other
It
one.
might be that particular system. They've got 5 cameras. They've got one in each corner of the county and one in the center.
Yeah, here's a little bit different shot, but not much. It's a similar looking camera. In fact, here we go. There they are. Now let's go down here and see if we can get a better look at them. Don't see any snow falling there. Pretty clouds though. A lot of crepuscular rays coming down. That's what these little rays are. People always call them sun rays, but they're actually called crepuscular rays. I got to be careful and not say cowpuscular, thanks to one of my spotters who started that phrase years ago, and now she got me being tongue-tied with it a lot of times. Let's go back down this way. Look at this camera. All right, we've already looked at that, I think, or maybe they just all kind of look alike after so far. But anyway, you get an idea of what it's looking like. Snow is around and flying, and it's beautiful. We could go down here and look at Memphis. I'm sorry. Yeah, look at Memphis and see what they look like. Well, it's a nice afternoon there. Nothing going on.
Sunny skies for now.
Yep. Not much traffic going on, though. For Friday, that's a little unusual. There's one car, but that's a little unusual, I would say, in a city that size. But 50 degrees, so it's not too bad.
I'm sure they do. D-Heavy Metal, I'm sure they have a camera on Glacier Mountain, but we can't. It's not part of the system that we see here on the Radar Omega system. I'm sure if we did a internet search, we could find it. But
yeah. Okay, so Phyllis Stokes, Reynolds, can you please do a recap for Lake Barkley area and Katie's? Thank you for all you do. So, Mark, yeah, we might as well start from the top and go down and tell them what we do know. And let me get everything keyed up here for the graphics, and I'll try to get them ready to go. So let's see. Let's start. This is the graphics of a winter storm watch for all the counties you see highlighted here. There's Hopkinsville, Madisonville, Owensboro, Paducah. Everybody is in the winter storm watch. Mayfield is not in that. The last 4 counties in far western Kentucky are not in this watch, but that's because they expect that to be mostly rain as it does that. So anyway, looks like we had a visitor in there with Mark, but then let's talk about the weather briefing that took place earlier. Is that anything we need to address, Mark?
no, he was just trying to locate a good source for salt.
Would you tell him it's not over there in the Salt Dome because that barn?
I told him. I told him that.
Okay, very good. All right, so here we go. So this is where, let's go to the weather briefing, Mark, and you can recap that if you like.
Okay, well, what they told us this morning is that the models are still shifting around, but most of us are going to be seeing precip start on late Saturday night, early Sunday morning. A lot of us are going to have it start off as freezing rain. Some of us, it'll shift over to rain. The more southern parts, it'll shift over to rain later in the day. And then it'll shift back over to all snow for everybody as we go through the night into Monday morning. The snow amounts will be fairly light. The freezing rain amounts will be mostly light down our way. There'll be a little bit more as we go north. But this is not going to be anything like the 2009 ice storm. It's not going to be nearly that bad. And things are more ready to go now than they were then. Other than that, we're still waiting to see what's going to happen, exactly where that low is going to track before we can tell you for sure who's going to get what.
Okay. And so now let's look at the timing. I believe that's what we want to look at next. Let me see if I can get my mouse over here to work right. Okay, here's the timing. Some of you were asking about what time, so here we go. Mark?
Yeah. Starting off over in Missouri, their precip could start as early as 10 p.m. to 1 a.m. Of course, the 1 a.m. would be the more eastern area of that. Then midnight to 3 a.m., it'll be over in West Kentucky and South Central Illinois. Then 2 to 5 a.m., it'll be here in our area in Christian County, Hopkinsville, Madisonville, on up into Illinois. And then 4 a.m. to 8 a.m., the onset of the precip on off to the east of there.
Okay.
And again, that's probably going to start off as some freezing rain and then change over to all rain in the very southern areas of that, like along the Kentucky-Tennessee border. Then go back to snow as we go into Sunday night and into Monday morning.
And while we got this up, Robert, let's see. Robert Stanfield says, "How can I use the website if no power and no Wi-Fi?" Well, if you've got your phone and you're able to do the 5G or anything like that, all you have to do is be able to get onto the internet and go to the YouTube channel, and you'll be able to watch us, hopefully.
Yeah.
I'm expecting us not to have.
If not, and you can get to some place that has a Wi-Fi, you can use it that way as well on your phone.
I'm hoping we don't have much in the way of power outages. Speaking with Penrod Rural Electric a little earlier, Brent Gilkey, it does appear that they've made a lot of improvements. And they don't anticipate any major power outages in their territory. Now, up towards KU, on up further north, it may be a different story. But same thing with Warren Rural Electric off to the east around Bowling Green. Not expecting any widespread power outages on any of these due to the fact of the lighter nature. Now, that is unless something changes and it shifts further south. That's the best we can tell you. I do think that that it is a good possibility. This all will change again. That's why we're going to do an update again tomorrow. Tedrick Green says, "Will you all be back on if conditions worsen?" Of course we will.
Yep.
We're dedicated to. I mean, that's what we're all about. That's why this channel was created, was to fill in the gap that we're being left by, even the TV stations. They some of them do a good job, but they've got to have commercials. They leave. Now we're going to play a commercial here too because we haven't paid our bills either. but we're not going to leave you. We're going to be right back on this. And the other thing we have to always worry about. Let's see here. Trish Horn says, "Does anyone have any recommendations on a heat source? I don't have money to buy anything."
Trish, if you have some tea candles and a couple of in a terracotta pot, you can make a makeshift heater that'll at least keep one room tolerable.
Yeah. There's lots of things you can do. Sometimes you just have to improvise, but I think you can look that up. If you've got internet, you can look up on how to do that. And I wish I had time, or we had done something. We could have shown you how to do that. Boone, will Treon, Georgia get snow, Mark?
Yeah, that's kind of far south. I don't know. Let's take a look at that.
And I'm going to, in the meantime, I'm going to go back to the radar while I find one of the other sites I always like to go to. This is a.
I would
Go ahead, Mark. Go ahead.
I would say for anywhere in Georgia, except right maybe up by Chattanooga, you're not going to see any snow out of this out
Okay.
through 384 hours. There might be a little bit of ice in North Georgia.
All right. So, um, Tammy Nichols Arnold, what's going to be for Russellville, Mark? Excuse me.
Russellville, you're in the same boat as we are. You're probably going to see this start out as freezing rain, maybe get about a tenth to 2/10 of an inch of accumulation of that. And then it's probably going to change over to all rain and then change over to a light snow Sunday evening. And again, we're not looking for a whole lot out of that snow. We may, right now, the models are showing possibly half an inch to 3/4 of an inch.
And we're currently looking at a live satellite image of the Earth. And this is, as I put it into motion, you get a little bit better idea about it. This was earlier today, and this is getting close to being current. Right there. So here's the storm right here. In fact, let me go here and let's take a look at the wind field, see if we can, there it is. You can see it coming ashore. This is another little minor disturbance, probably just a disturbance, I guess, of some type. But this is by far the bigger storm, and that's what's coming ashore now. Then as we go back out here, we can see the Aleutian low right about here. Another storm behind that. It looks like we have a trough here. Another trough here. Wow, just a bunch of unsettled. Yeah, I guess this would be the Aleutian low. It's what it looks like. It's moved around a little bit, but it's a little elongated right now, but that's got to be it right here. So this is the driving force. It keeps throwing these little disturbances off over to the east into the United States, and then here we go. We've got this bigger storm now that's about to come ashore. It is coming ashore, as he said earlier, we'll see how this plays out.
Boone says, could it change? Yes, of course it could change. Right now, the system's just coming ashore on the west coast. It's going to cause all this. It may shift around to the south, north. It could do a lot of different things, but for right now, it could definitely change, Boone. So do keep track of what's going on and keep checking in with us.
Now, here is part of the polar vortex that's being pushed down into the United States now. It's starting to, this is that cold air we were talking about, and already up here in Saskatoon, it's 21 below zero. All this is below zero. In the purple, it's below zero. Here's 42 below. This is in northern Saskatchewan. This is part of the Hudson Bay vortex. It's actually broken off, and it is moving south. But look at the depth and extent of the cold air that's up here now over the northern part of the continent. Looks like here's 57 below zero in Yukon, and in Fairbanks we've got 50 below, 51 below near to the northwest of Fairbanks. Fairbanks itself is at 18 below. So lots of cold air up here, and it's moving southward. Cold air is heavy, as you know, and so is it going to modify? Well, if you get snowpack down here, it won't modify as much. So I think they seem to be backing off on the very extreme cold.
Yeah.
But
we'll still be looking at lows in most areas down in the single digits, but they've taken the below zero out of most everywhere, which I am very grateful for.
Yes, we all are. So we don't need the below zero temperatures either. So lots of things to be grateful for so far. But also, I've got to tell you, we're just getting started with the winter weather. We still got the rest of January and all of February to go through. So yeah, it's gonna get crazy. Let's see here.
Donna Lord asked earlier about Nashville. Nashville is probably going to miss most of this stuff, but getting to Nashville would be a different matter.
This is true. So I thought you guys would like to take a look at this while we were at it. And let me go back over to our radar now. And anyway, okay. Now, let's see here. Don Lord says, and can recharge cell phone and vehicle. That's correct. All of you should remember. So let's kind of go back over what you can do if you're out here and you've got a serious winter storm raging outside. You get icing on everything, and you start getting power outages, what do you do? In effect, hang on just a second. Yeah, Jacob Gibson, you're right, up to 3/10 of an inch of ice for the Hopkinsville area, I believe. And I think in some areas he's right. I think it's a little bit more towards North Christian, but yes, you're correct. Let's see here. Okay.
Bowling Green, you're right in the line with everyone else that we've been talking about across Western Kentucky here. That's about level with Hopkinsville. So you're looking at probably 2 to 3/10 when all said and done.
And I see my friend David Matheny from way back when. He said he went to school with me in Franklin. And yes, we graduated from Franklin Simpson High School. But he says that they have the roads prepared for whatever we get in Franklin. And a lot of people are seeing road departments, street departments out spreading brine on the roadways now. That's a good thing to do, to give them a heads up on keeping the ice off for a good while. Hopefully it'll stay off. Glenda Dockery says, what should we expect in Horse Branch, Kentucky? You know where Horse Branch is, Mark?
If I'm thinking right, isn't that just north of like Mammoth Cave area? Hang on, let me look it
Horse
up.
Cave, I think.
I probably am.
Courtney Perry says timing for Hopkinsville. I believe it was between. Wait a minute, I'll tell you. Between 2 and 5 a.m. is when we expect to be in here on us in the Hopkinsville, Madisonville, Clarksville areas, Mount Vernon, all the way up into Mount Vernon.
Horse Branch is just to the northeast of Beaver Dam.
Oh, so that's back to Western Kentucky.
Yeah.
Well, let me see. That would be. We're probably looking around 3/10, a little over 3/10 of an inch of ice. Again, that's tolerable. You don't like any ice if you can help it. But now that's the precip equivalent, isn't it, Mark? That doesn't mean that, like, if we got winds and it's blowing it off those lines, it doesn't mean that that's all on lines, right?
No, that's basically looking at a ground accumulation.
Yes. So I hope that helps answer the questions on that. But everybody's going to get some icing, it looks like. Some are going to get more than others. The more you get will be up along the Ohio River and northward. And but even with that, it's not a slam dunk that you're going to lose power up there. Like I said, this is one of those things where you just have to keep an eye on it and see how this plays out. Jeffrey Bays says, hey, David, thanks, man. I appreciate you, Jeffrey. I appreciate all of you that are on with us. I really do. But I've got to do something here. We've got to pay our bills really bad.
Yeah. Courtney Perry, let me interject real quick here.
Ahead.
Courtney
Sure.
Perry, this is for Sunday.
Yes.
This is for Sunday. Saturday will be your last day to get everything ready because it's going to start in the overnight hours, Saturday night into Sunday morning.
So by Sunday morning, we may have some road issues, travel impacts, fairly possible, more than possible. But as the day goes on, if the temperatures rise, hopefully they will, and it'll change some of it to rain, and in some areas it'll just go over to snow or something of that sort. But you know what? We were talking about severe weather, the chances of severe storms down in back down into far western Tennessee, and maybe even down further south. But if we ever get some up this way, which we will at some point, just remember this. What would you do when severe storms with tornadoes threaten you and your family? If you have planned properly, you will have a storm shelter nearby that is strong, safe, and will save your family's life. Mid-South storm shelters provide just that. They blend well with the landscape and are proven lifesavers. When the weather gets severe, have no fear with a Mid-South storm shelter. Call today at 270-725-6020. And of course, we don't want to forget our friend Michael Vance Contracting and Roofing, another fine sponsor of ours. He's been instrumental in helping us get this page going, and he really does know his roofs. If you have any problems with your roof, call 270-707-ROOF and talk to Michael. He won't charge you anything for talk, and I think you'll find him very knowledgeable in roofing. Also, he owns Lakeside Campground Marina. There's the website at visitlakesidecampground.com. And I want to talk about my good friend Katie Moyer over at Kentucky Hemp Works. I just talked to her yesterday. Love the woman to pieces. She's absolutely a dynamo when it comes to helping folks up there get houses that are rebuilt. She's kind of hitting some of that stuff up, recovering from the December of 21 tornado outbreak. And so they're still recovering up there, and a lot of work still to be done, and she's heavily involved with that. But one of the things she does to protect herself when she's got aches and pains and chapped lips, let's take a look what Katie does. Anytime my aches and pains act up, I always reach for Kentucky Hemp Works Hemp Root Salve. It's easy to use. Just rub it on the affected areas and you will soon notice big relief. You can use it as a moisturizing lip balm or ointment that heals and protects your lips during adverse weather conditions and helps with preventing chapped lips. This amazing Kentucky Hemp Works salve is available in our online store at dpww.shop. Order today. And also, you can find that in our online store that currently is at dpww.shop. There's a QR code that'll take you to it, and you can get some of the root salve that Katie has on there, and that she's got some fishing attractant that is just absolutely a killer for fish out there. And you see several other things. We have some koozies on there and things of that sort. Been getting several orders in, and so hopefully that will be going out to those that have ordered it, and hope you all enjoy it. And anyway, so that takes care of us paying for the bills. So let's go back to our normal screen here. Okay, Mark, let's go ahead and recap everything for everybody.
All right. If you want to start running the graphics, or
right.
I can just start talking.
No, we can run the graphics. Hang on just a second. I will get the first one up. Right, here we go.
Okay, what we're looking at there is an area, all the area you see there in blue is under a winter storm watch, which begins at midnight tomorrow night into Sunday morning and lasts until 6 a.m. Monday. And again, that winter storm watch, they're looking for anything from 4+ inches of snow up in the northern parts down to a quarter inch of ice or so in the southern parts. Again, it's just going to depend on where that low goes. Somebody just asked how far that would need to shift south for us to have all snow. Probably at least 120 miles or more to the south it'd have to shift that far south for it to be all snow.
All snow, yeah.
So,
but you could still get substantial snow even if it didn't shift quite that far. What's the next graphic you want?
right. Go ahead and show the ice graphic, if you
Okay.
would. Okay, there's what we're looking for right now as far as icing. Again, less to the south, more across up in Missouri, southern Illinois, and up along the Indiana-Kentucky border up toward Louisville. Some of those areas could get close to an inch. But again, that's going to be on the surface more than it is on the power lines, but they will probably have power outages through those areas.
Okay. Next.
And then snow graphic.
Hey, let me back this up. This is on January up to January 12th. Let me back up to what we expect immediately. This is
Right.
someone was asking earlier about are we going to get any snow at all? And so what I did is I sped it up to show
up
another.
to around the 11th, we're going to have another storm come through, and it's going to be more of a southern storm.
That's right, and plus won't have the ice. Thank goodness that this one did. So let's back on up here.
Jacob Gibson, farther out, I've seen them shift around that much. Normally, by the time we're starting to get a little bit closer, they shift around sometimes 50 miles, sometimes a little bit more, but rarely do they shift, 100 miles south, 100 miles north of where they were kind of looking at. That's gotten better and better over the years. I mean, I have seen them shift 100 miles, but that's been years ago when the models weren't quite as accurate.
Okay, here's the snowfall for projected snowfall for Monday the 6th at 15Z.
Yeah, so you can see we get a little snow down here in West Kentucky by that, and that's the wraparound of that storm after it's gone by. The main snow is going to be up to the north as the main storm pushes through, and that's going to be up in central Missouri, central Illinois, up toward Indianapolis and central Indiana. And again, the totals start to trail off a little bit as it moves farther to the east.
Okay. And what's your next graphic you want?
Let's see. Yeah, we'll go ahead and let's show them the SPC. We can talk about potential for severe weather.
All right, give me just a second. Get over to it. My mouse wants to act up because it has a mind of its own sometime when you're dealing with 4 or 5 monitors. Here we go.
Okay, this is from the SPC. This is for Sunday when the cold front associated with this low is pushing through. They're looking for a slight chance for severe weather. This is mostly for high winds. There's a slight chance for some tornadoes down there south in Louisiana and Mississippi. But for the most part, this is going to be for high winds with the thunderstorms. It's going to be probably a line of storms moving through. And you can see the general thunderstorms extend all the way up around our area. Again, this is going to be where the rain changes over to just rain more than it is for any of the freezing rain or snow. And that's going to be a chance for just some thunderstorms, possibly marginally severe down in West Tennessee.
Okay. And you next?
What else have you got up there?
Well, I've got timing. I've got.
Let's look at the timing. Everybody's curious about the timing of when everything's going to start. This is for the start of precipitation. This is going to be for Saturday night into Sunday early morning. 10 p.m. to 1 a.m. It looks like over in Missouri for the most part. Midnight to 3 a.m. It's going to be West Kentucky, southern Illinois. Then from 2 a.m. to 5 a.m. is when we start getting the precip here in the Hopkinsville area, Madisonville, on up into Illinois. And then 4 a.m. to 8 a.m. everything starts off in Missouri, in Indiana, and on into towards central Kentucky.
Okay. And next, find my. Okay. So the next one is I don't know what that one is.
Well, hit it there you go. That's fine. The winter storm planning timeline. We're still a couple days out. This is still Friday. So again, have your emergency supplies for your. I'm going to look at it in here because I can't hardly see it from your broadcast.
Yeah, I'm trying to get it where it's showing up properly, where you can see it on screen completely. Here we go.
Have your emergency supplies for your home and car. Check your smoke detectors and your carbon monoxide detectors. Hopefully you've got both. If you've got any kind of a gas heat or whatever, you probably ought to have a carbon monoxide detector as well. Replenish the fuel for your car. And if you're having to pick up fuel for a generator, go ahead and get your fuel for your generator. The day before, adjust your plans as needed. Have multiple ways of getting warnings and updates. If you have pets outdoors, bring them in if you need to. Ensure they have water. If you have livestock or whatever, make sure they have a water source that's not going to freeze up on them. During and after, remain vigilant and stay informed. Drive only if necessary. And if you just want to go out and see what everything looks like, that's not necessary. Like if you have a medical emergency or you absolutely have to go pick up a relative who has a medical emergency or something like that, then you can get out. Otherwise, probably best to just stay at home and watch all the whatever is coming down come down. Check on your neighbors and your family. Make sure if you're using an alternate heat source, if you're using a kerosene heater or if you're using candles or anything else like that, make sure you have everything properly ventilated. We don't want to lose anybody. Keep generators at least 20 feet from your house. We don't want to lose anyone to carbon monoxide poisoning. We've seen that happen in the past when there's been winter storms and people start using generators. They don't go on your back porch. They don't go in your house anywhere. They don't go in your garage anywhere. Make sure they're out and away far enough so you don't have to worry about carbon monoxide building up. And if you're out shoveling, moving the ice off the steps or shoveling snow, take it easy. You're not used to moving stuff like this. A lot of times what happens to people, they get out moving snow and ice and stuff like that. And next thing you know, they've given themselves a heart attack. We don't want to see that.
Okay. All right. So hopefully that brought everybody up to date a little bit on everything. I do hope that you remember to bring your pets inside. Make sure your outside hoses are disconnected from your faucets, because if you don't, then you're going to get some frozen pipes. Let's see. Make sure your vents are covered to the outside from under your house there. And let's see here. What else, Mark? There were several other things. I did want to mention. Someone said heat the chicken coop. I think someone said that's not a good idea, and the reason is that can cause humidity to build up in the coop and actually cause birds stress. So it's better not to heat a chicken coop. Let it go like it is, and as long as they're out of the wind and everything, it should be just fine. Because a lot of times when you see birds and they look really big, that's because they fluff out their feathers to warm up, and so it's actually like a bigger coat they're putting on when they fluff their feathers out. So hopefully you will understand that. And let's see here. Oh, be sure that you can break up the water for outside pets so that they can have plenty of fresh water. The other thing too is be careful going out, because you don't want to slip on the ice and end up with a broken bone or anything like that. That would be the worst thing that could happen, is that you slip and fall. So take it very carefully. And I don't think you really want to put about table salt and stuff like that on concrete, because it breaks it down, doesn't it, Mark? If I remember right.
It does. You have to be careful what you're going to use
Yeah.
to de-ice with. The other stuff they use, like the street salt and stuff like that, it's not super great for it, but it's better than like table salt. Table salt, you don't really want to use that on your stuff.
Yeah, because it will make the concrete deteriorate. And you'll say, "What happened to my concrete? It's gone." So,
and once it warms up enough for it to liquefy and it flows, it washes off, which will eventually do, and gets in your grass. Table salt will fit your grass.
Yeah, sure will. So just remember that stuff. Use the de-icer. You can get at different stores, Lowe's, Walmart, any of your retail stores will have that. So
Shannon, not right now. We're not looking at anything below zero as far as our area. Now, up to the north, they may get some below zero temperatures up in the very north part of Kentucky, southern Indiana, and Illinois, over in that area.
Yeah.
But for right now, none of the models are showing below zero for us, just down to single digits.
So I hope that has answered everyone's question. And be sure and subscribe to this channel, please. A lot of you have subscribed to us, and we really appreciate that. I really do. It will mean a lot to us, because we'll be able to continue to bring you this technology. And it looks like right now I'll show you. Here's some of the technology I was going to show you. We've got a power outage down here in northern Alabama, and let's kick in on it. Looks like 435 customers out of power there, and so out of a total of 5,060 customers, which relates to about 8.6% of the customers out of power, and that's in Franklin County, Alabama. So that's probably not weather related. Not sure why they're out of power there, but that's just something to give you an idea about that we have the ability to do with this radar. We can actually go down. In fact, let me go ahead and go back to the regular radar instead of the winter weather one. Here we go. It's a little better. We can actually go down and look at the individual houses. Let me see if I can find a place here. Let's go over here to, let's try somewhere in here. And you see the roads, but the closer we get, you start seeing little gray outlines in here. as we get even closer. Now, these are all houses. In fact, there's an outbuilding there, probably a barn. There's another little outbuilding here. So we can go in all the way to the outbuildings and tell you what the weather is going to be like at a specific spot. So I just want to let you guys know. Amateur meteorologist Zach says, "Good afternoon, Mr. Powell." Hey, Zach, how are you doing, buddy? Glad to see you on with us. And let's see here. Bonnie Rudolph Sykes says she's just getting on. Says it's going to be bad in West Kentucky. Mark, I'll let you take that away.
Yeah, well, Western Kentucky, we are looking at mostly right now some freezing rain before it turns over to regular rain later in the day on Sunday, and then Sunday night changing over to snow. Now, depending on how far north you go, depends on how much you're going to get as far as ice or snow. But for right now, that's all we're looking at. And again, it's just going to depend on exactly where you at as to how much you get. Also, Linda McElrath, you were saying you're a bit worried about a homeless man in your area. I do believe the Salvation Army and whatever, they are opening warming shelters when it gets this cold.
Yes.
But that'll be on in toward next week.
Dazed and confused blind. I'll probably be taking my kids to work. If the boss can make it to Dairy Queen, she expects the workers to make it too. Well, yeah, but you know what? Nothing's worth risking your life. If you deem it too dangerous, do what you have to do. Your life and your children's life are worth more than someone who just insists you come to work because you can't make it, you know. Jackie Mattis says, David, when are you guys doing another update? That's a good question. So, Mark, we are going to see them again tomorrow.
Yes, we are. Probably, I'd say later in the afternoon. That way we can get all the latest models in and have them completed before we get on and start talking.
So when we get on tomorrow, we're going to be able to give you a fairly good idea about what we think will happen. Things will be a lot clearer, and we should have a lot more data. I know we will be on tomorrow, and I will try to notify you via my Facebook page exactly when that will be. I may even do a live Facebook update as well prior to that, so that hopefully you guys can get an idea of what we're doing. And I've had so many people follow me. I can't get over how many people have actually viewed my post and stuff. It was in the last 28 days, I've had almost 500,000 viewers, Mark. I can't fathom that many folks. It just
really,
it really does. I mean, it's humbling, and it's a big load to carry on your shoulders when you've got that many people, and it's your responsibility to try to make sure everything's as truthful as possible. And so,
yeah. Someone was asking about Sturgis, Kentucky. You're going to be in the ice, probably close to 4/10 of an inch. From what I've looked at just now, about 3.5 to 4/10 of an inch of ice when it's all said and done. And again, then probably changing over to rain briefly and then changing over to snow Sunday night. And again, with the snow, we're not looking at a huge amount, just, probably 1/2 inch to an inch, depending on where you're at.
Yeah, I think we will see the snow falling. That's the thing. Unless it falls in the middle of the night, we all sleep through it, which is possible. But again, I do think that we're going to do our best to try to get on before it gets too late.
Crofton, probably around 2 to 2.5 of an inch of ice are possible, and then changing over all to rain, and again, a little bit of snow on the backside.
And Marion, Kentucky, it flipped up on me if I could catch the name. Well, where did it go? See if I can scroll up here and catch it. Yeah, I had to restart this bigger screen up here a minute ago. All right, well, it's not wanting to cooperate with me. Try one more time. Yeah, it's not wanting to cooperate. It's just being contrary today.
Yeah. Zachary, in this scenario, yeah, you're going to be kind of right on the edge. You may get a little bit of the freezing rain, but you probably won't get as much. But again, if things shift a little bit southward, you could be in some of the freezing rain as well. Central City, same with as what we were just saying, probably 2 to 3 tenths of ice and then snow on the backside.
Central City, did you address that one from Stacy or Tracy
Yes.
Eds? Okay.
Yes.
Dazed and confused blind, we will be having Alaska weather and they will be having our weather. They're expected to be 50 degrees warmer than normal. My sister said their snow melting is like spring in Kenai
The
Peninsula.
Kenai.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, you know,
It probably won't stay that way.
no, it probably won't. Sheila Baxter says, I appreciate all you do, David Powell. I appreciate you, Sheila. I'm counting on you guys to take up for me when everybody starts slamming on me, because they sure do like to whenever I do this stuff. I don't know what the problem is. I've never done anything to them. I've always tried to be kind and considerate to everyone. And I'm going to continue to do that. We just do the best we can. But I will never intentionally lie to you or tell you anything wrong. And everything I get, I have a backing behind it. I don't tell you stuff without just thinking about it, researching it, making sure that I'm as accurate as I possibly can be. Am I perfect? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But, you always try. That's all you can do is try.
Yep.
So unless anyone has anything else, Mike Matthews wants to know about Aurora, Kentucky. And then Kathy Swift just got on, says, what about Hopkinsville and Katy? So let's hit them up again.
Okay.
Jacob
Basic
Gibson,
idea.
Jacob Gibson, the people slamming Dave are the ones we give that lemon snow cream to. Jacob, you're a good guy. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Mark.
Okay. What we're looking at is snow. Is the precip is probably going to start off through West Kentucky as freezing rain, probably in the overnight hours past midnight on Saturday night into Sunday morning. Then we're probably going to change over to all rain sometime Sunday morning after 9 a.m. Then we'll change back into snow Sunday night. So we're going to get a little bit of everything that's going to go on in between. Then the amount of snow we're going to get is not going to be a huge amount, maybe half an inch, maybe to an inch, depending on where you're at. Down this way anyway. They may get more up around the Ohio River area and southern Indiana and Illinois.
Yeah, let's see. Who else is on with us? Johnny Allen. How about Madisonville, Hanson, and Slaughters area? I don't think we've touched too much on that, Mark.
The Hanson area?
Yeah, Madisonville, Hanson, and Slaughters.
Yeah, they're more up in the ice range. And from what I've seen up that way, they may get close to a half inch. But again, they're expecting enough wind to kind of keep it off the power lines a bit. You may not get, you may get some power outages, but they won't be nearly as bad as what we've seen in the past. But it will make travel a lot more difficult up that way.
Yeah, the sword says, repent, Jesus is coming. And that's good advice for all of us. In fact,
He certainly is.
Yeah, it says, it's hard for me when I talk about those other folks. I don't judge anyone, because how can I judge anybody when I'm myself am so imperfect? You know what I mean? So anyway, but thank you all so much for being friends and having faith in us. We appreciate that. Mary Kay Simmons says, David, Mark, you are both truly appreciated for the work you do to keep us all informed on all things weather related. What you both do definitely makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
That is so nice for someone to say like that, Mary. Thank you very much. Tamisha Lackey says, what about Bowling Green?
Bowling Green's just about the same as we are. They're probably going to get the ice and then change over to rain and then change over to snow later. Probably about 2 to 3 hours later in the timing of everything. Probably, again, 2 to 3 tenths of an inch.
James Davidson says, I wonder if we'll get a super block-busting blizzard along the I-95 corridor before the end of January. I would say there's chances in all of this because of the extreme cold that's still up there, and I've shown you some of the pictures.
Yeah.
It
The
is,
I-95 corridor runs from Maine to Florida.
yeah, so that could be anywhere.
What part of the I-95?
I mean, Joe Davenport, what about Logan County? About the same as Christian County. I agree with that. Amateur meteorologist Zach says, I've listened to David Powell for years on 106.5 WKDZ. Thank you so much, Zach. I really appreciate that. I have been in radio and TV and weather just about as long as I can remember, so I appreciate that a lot. And then Johnny Allen says, thank you for the update and information. Kathy Swift says, you're very appreciated. Thank you. Me says, Michael Henderson, don't wish that on us in Tennessee. Oh, my goodness. Shelley
Davidson says the Jersey Shore.
McLeod says, Jacob Gibson, you're right on the lemon snow cream. I trust channels like these guys. That means a lot. It really does. And sometimes we Jason Helsey says, I used to watch Dave on TV 43 when I was a kid. Oh, God. Now it's showing my age.
Oh, my goodness, yes.
That has been a while, but thank you, Jason. It's nice of you to remember that. My face is going to turn red. I'm just kind of... Anyway, thank you all so much. You don't know what that means. Joe Davenport just hopped on. Didn't hear about Christian County. Okay, Mark, real quick, give him another.
Go ahead and recap them. I'm looking at something for somebody else real quick.
So Christian County, we look at the stuff to arrive between. Let me look at the times again. I've done forgot them. I had them in my mind, but give me just a second. I'll get all that information for you.
Yeah.
Between.
Someone was asking. Oh, go ahead.
But yes, sorry, you go ahead.
Okay. Someone was asking about Terre Haute, Indiana. Up that far north, you're kind of almost out of the snow band to the north, because the band's going to go across, mostly central Indiana. But you probably still stand to pick up a couple of 3 inches out of it up that way.
Ah, sweet. So maybe they can make some snow cream. So Let's see here. They were asking about what time it would come in. And here's the graphic again. In the Hopkinsville, Madisonville, Clarksville area between 2 a.m. and 5 a.m. And this would be Sunday morning. 2 a.m. and 5 a.m. Sunday morning. These are approximate times. It could change, but this is the approximate times. And so I hope that answers your question. Jason Helsley says, I'm only 45, Dave. Jason, shh, be quiet. No, I was only, 16.
You were only 6 years. You were only 6 years old when you were on TV.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. K Wells 42101 says, sorry, I'm just joining. What is Paducah expecting now? Okay, Mark.
For now, Paducah is still expecting they're going to be in the ice and a little bit in the snow. Looking maybe they get an inch or so of snow again on the background. Again, the gradient on this snow is going to be really steep. The farther north you go, it's going to go from just being able to get an inch, and then probably 50 miles north of that, you'll get 4 or 5.
Yeah.
So, but for Paducah itself, they are going to be in the freezing rain. And it looks like right now they're looking at
Close to 4/10, almost half an inch.
Linda Adams Hart sums it up, says, guess we'll take what we get. Thanks for keeping us in the loop, David. And I appreciate all of you for joining us, allowing us into your household or your workplace, wherever you're watching us from. Let's see. Me says, I've never used a kerosene heater. What are some safe ones? Most of them are pretty safe. Just probably ask at the place you're going to purchase it from. I know there's several places in Hopkinsville that currently have them. So Lowe's, you have, I think Walmart's got some in now, and Rural King has some. I can't, maybe Tractor, I know Tractor Supply has some. So Yeah, there's several places you can get these kerosene heaters. Just talk to them about it and listen to their recommendations. Okay, so everybody, I think we're going to get ready to call an evening here. We've
Yeah.
been on for almost 2 hours, and I really do appreciate you. I'm I'm like K Wells 42101. I'm a little worried about some of the ice accumulations for the folks up around the Ohio River, but really for the areas south of Paducah and Madisonville,
Madisonville.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think we're going to be okay. I don't look for widespread power outages. I would be kind of surprised if we did get widespread stuff. But now, again, you have to remember that the low is just now coming on shore. And so they'll start sampling it this evening. And all right, Sheila Edgar says, please settle the house divided, LOL. Husband says, Channel 5 says blah, blah, blah. I believe what you are telling me. We have a fish dinner writing on this. What's it going to be, guys? Well, I think I've told you what we really believe it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Channel 5 or anybody else that says this is exactly what it's going to be are a little premature on it, because even the National Weather Service says this could change, and it very well may change over the next 24 hours. By tomorrow,
Yeah.
we should have a good idea on it. I do think that Christian County and Hopkinsville, Madisonville, Murray. I think Hopkinsville, Madisonville, and Greenville, and Paducah, and Owensboro will all see some ice. I don't think it'll be enough to cause widespread power outages. I know that Mayfield and Murray probably will see mostly rain. The last we saw that the low was going to take a little bit more of a jog towards the south, which would put us into the more ice and stuff. But I don't see any issues with Tennessee. So I hope that helps you all a little bit on settling that problem. I hope you get to have the fish dinner. And again, I'm not going to say anybody is wrong on any
They're
of this
both
stuff.
going to get a fish dinner anyway.
Well, that's true. Yeah. So you might as well tell him, hey, you might as well buy me the fish dinner, because you can't win. There's no way you can win. So anyway, I hope that helps. Anyway, but thanks everyone for joining us, and I will see you tomorrow. Don't know the exact time. I would say 2-ish, Mark, maybe.
Probably 2-ish
Yeah.
or so.
Yeah. So I will try to let you know on my Facebook post when we'll be going live, and so you'll have a better idea about it, and you can join us, and we'll give you the very latest that we know then. We'll tell you everything we know, and I guess that's about the best I can do. Mark, you got any last words?
Everyone, continue with your preparations. Be careful and be safe. And we will see you tomorrow.
And if I don't see you here, I'll see you here. If I can push my button. Okay, so my button is not going to work. Let me see what's going on here. Somebody has messed with my button. Looks like my credit roll stuff is gone. Let's see if I can find it somewhere else here. Yeah, the ending credits seems to be gone.
It was there yesterday.
It's not there now. I push it and it has an exclamation point. So I love this technology. Give me just a minute. I'll see if I can locate it on here somewhere, but I don't even see it anywhere. Well, there's a sponsor, but that doesn't help us none. Well, I guess I could whistle the tune. Hang on just a minute. We'll get this fixed here in just a moment. So you can push it and it's not there. That's just it. I don't see it.
Yeah.
Well, we can't seem to find our ending credits. Dave said he's going to whistle the Andy Griffith Show theme. So here we go. Anyway, see you guys later. We'll talk to you, and maybe we'll have this fixed tomorrow. But we'll see you tomorrow.